How many times has this happened to you? You had countless of different trades that you had been running and you were looking out for a specific setup. You were supposed to be following your trading plan. But what ended up happening is you either not taking a trade or you're taking some kind of other trade that you shouldn't have taken. That led to a loss. And your stop loss got hit because of you, because you were not able to hold yourself accountable in that exact moment. So the problem is not the strategy, the problem is you not being able holding off your emotions. While most traders are going to be thinking trading is about technical things, trading is about drawing lines, trading is about who has the best confluences. That is part of the story, okay? That is a huge part of the story to begin with. But an even bigger part is going to be your psychology, your emotional state whenever you're looking out for a setup. So the difference is, I can have the best strategy in the world, but if I'm not able to execute it, well then, I'm probably also not going to be a profitable trader. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. I will be live trading for you and you will watch me taking a setup and basically be what you guys like to call a robot from start all the way to finish. Now, we're also going to be talking about being a robot as a whole, because that's not the right approach in trading. You should not be a robot. That's a lie. And I'll also be talking about this in this entire live trading session. But first things first, let's go over this. So what we're looking out for, we're starting our day at 8:30 and we already had our push higher. Now for that, we need to quickly pull up something, and that is going to be our notes. Now, if you don't have a trading plan, then I'm sorry, but you don't want to be profitable, okay? You don't want to be profitable. So let's quickly go to our notes and basically fill in all of the different things. So first things first, I want to go to the pre-market that we have had in here. That's going to be today. Our pre-market is basically going to be trading onto the upside because we already have that movement higher, okay? See, that's like the very first step that most traders are just going to fuck up on, okay? They don't understand, well, I need a plan before I'm going to be entering a trade to begin with. They don't even have a plan, okay? You need a proven system alongside with a plan. So the plan is trade onto the upside. And the reason for that is going to be because we are already basically trading on to the upside with this huge move higher, right? So I'm going to just say news. And also momentum overall. Now what else can I see? I can also see a 4-hour FEG and also a gap. So this is basically just a gap but combined with a FEG before that. So that's just basically a BPR in that sense to me. Like in my book, that's just a BPR. So we have a BPR, but I'm also marking it out as that. So gap plus FEG. Okay. So from this point on, basically, this is going to be our pre-market. We have already done the entire analysis. Okay, now I'm looking out for a trade to trade higher. This was on the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, pretty much. Now, what we also want to have is we want to go onto the 50-minute time frame. And now we're going to go to our entire checklist. Okay, so let's go to our pinned notes. I'm going to be adding that as a thing. So trading plan. Okay, I already know my trading plan from the top of my head, but I still like to write those things down. So the first one is going to be, I need to identify the higher time frame bias. Okay, we have already done that. And then the next thing is going to be, I need a 50-minute range high and low that I need to identify. Now the next one is going to be, I need a liquidity rate on the 1-minute time frame. From there on, I'm looking out for a movement candle also on the 1-minute time frame. Okay, now higher time frame is checked. We already have that. The next one is going to be 50-minute range. We are currently on the 50-minute time frame. And we want to identify our range. It's going to be our range high. That's going to be our range low. Okay, just like that, range high. And this is going to be our range low. So we have already pretty much systematically checked off both of these things. Now I'm looking on the 1-minute time frame for liquidity rate. This has to happen past A30. If it doesn't happen past A30, then it's not going to work. It is detrimental. It is very important. Okay. This has also happened because we have a swing low in here that has been taken out, but even also very recently, swing low in here. Okay, now this is also checked. Now the last part that I need is a movement candle. Since we already plan on trading onto the upside, what do I need to see? A candle that is trading heavily onto the upside. It has to be more than this one. It has to be more than this one, more than this one. Of course, it doesn't have to be like bigger than this entire candle because like that's already pretty big. That's a news candle after all. But I'm looking out for the size of a candle. I mean, in terms of more, I mean the size of the candle. It has to look something like this. Okay, maybe less, maybe more, but something along the way. This is what I'm looking out for. So already I am basically imagining how the chart should look like. Okay, so I'm not just saying, okay, well, nah, maybe this, maybe that, maybe X, maybe Y, maybe higher, maybe lower. No, I'm imagining exactly what I want to see. And unless that doesn't happen on the charts, then I'm not going to be taking a trade. Okay, if that exact same thing that I'm looking out for doesn't happen, then I'm not going to be taking a trade. Let me repeat that. Okay, I will repeat that 100 different times if I really have to, until you're going to be understanding it. So this is basically what a trader's job is. He has to have a plan. He has to have all of these things in line. Okay, this was our liquidity rate. Because if you don't have all of these things, then don't expect to be profitable. You need a plan. Now, looking at all of this, we're probably going to be liquidating a couple of more people. This will be a good chance to do so lower. That's exactly why you need the entry criteria, because if I just had those three things, and by the way, if you're just going to be missing one of these, then again, don't expect to be profitable. Okay, and it doesn't have to be my strategy. Okay, this is just my strategy that I'm trading. It's super simple, and I speak also a lot on the channel, on my main channel. Go check that out if you want to, where you can have a profitable trading strategy and it has an edge. Okay, so it is profitable. You are going to be making money by the end of the year. But if you're going to be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different things that you're looking out for, and then you have 10 different options, and those 10 different options can go in 2 different directions, which is going to be higher or lower, or actually 3, or actually we can just consolidate, then you're basically left with 100 different options. Basically multiply all of that. And so the problem is that, okay, the strategy is profitable, but it's so complicated that you're not going to be able to execute it on a day-to-day basis. So this is basically why I limit my options. Okay, very easy, high time frame bias. Okay, 50-minute range. Okay, liquidity rate 1 minute. The hardest part about all of this is waiting for the movement candle on the 1 minute time frame. That's the hardest part that you're basically doing. The rest is kind of like, yeah, you know, like we need to wait out for it whatsoever, but like that's not really hard. The hardest part is really just waiting out for the movement candle, because the movement candle is once again attached to psychology and emotions. That's why I have written it down. Okay, and I am going to check it or wait for it until I'm able to check it, and then I can take a trade. You know, don't mind me, like maybe I'm just going to be taking a trade, right? I'm going to be taking a trade and only then I'll check it. That's no big issue, but you get the point. This is how I'm basically holding myself accountable. Now, why is the 1 minute movement candle going to be the hardest part about all of this? Because you see, when we're doing the higher time frame bias, we're not taking a trade yet. Okay, we are somewhat still steps ahead, or steps in the past basically, where we are allowed to take a trade. Then we are in the 50-minute range, also not easy to identify. We go onto the 50-minute time frame and we identify the range. Very easy. No, but then after that, we have the liquidity rate on the 1 minute. That's already where it's a little bit harder, because now you have to wait, because that is not going to happen immediately. Sometimes you are going to be waiting for like 50 minutes or like an hour or so. I wouldn't say like an hour, but like 30 minutes where you are going to get that. And this is already your first test of staying patient. Well, but the movement candle is still way harder than every of the previous ones. Not because it's hard identifying a movement candle, but because it's hard to basically just stand still. That's why it's hard. Not because identifying movement candles hard, because I can already tell you, like right from the start, a movement candle is a candle that is just heavily trading onto the up or downside, but it has to be compared with everything that has previously happened. Okay, so if we're going to be having a candle like this one, this is like meh. Okay, this is not really a movement candle. It's not big, because compared to this one, it's not really that much bigger. Compared to this one, it's not really that much bigger. Compared to all of these, also not really that much bigger. But if you're going to be having something like this, okay, then it's bigger. And it also has to happen in correlation between what has previously happened. I've explained that in previous videos as well. If you want, you can check them out. So right now we are just continuing our liquidity rates. I mean, the very original liquidity rate has happened in here, if you mind. Okay, this was the very first one that we have taken out. And from this point on, you are already looking out for a movement candle higher. Now, luckily, we are trading onto the downside, because that means we have much more potential to then trade higher into the 50-minute range high, basically. So yeah, this is pretty much what we're looking out for. I mean, there's not much into it. I am willing to change the bias as usual, because you have to stick to the stuff. But if the price action is telling you clearly, like, bro, you have been basically wrong, okay? You have misidentified the price action, and I'm clearly showing that to you. Well, then you just have to accept that, you know, put the ego aside. just put the ego aside and understand that, okay, maybe it's time. Maybe it is time. So I'm going to be marking this out like so. This was a BPR. This was a gap plus FEG. So a usual classic BPR. It's going to be 2 FEGs, but this is a gap and an FEG. So that's why I'm marking it out this way. I do believe that it's important. And yeah, so let's actually go back to our pre-market. It's going to be the pre-market. And I'm going to take a screenshot of all of this with all of the descriptions. So now we basically have everything aligned. So there we go. It's going to be the 4-hour time frame. Then we go into the 50-minute time frame. Identify all of that. Okay, this was the 50-minute. And then we have the 1-minute time frame. Okay, there we go. We have the liquidity rate because you want to document all of your stuff. Because at the end of all of these sessions, I look at my own trades and see, okay, have I actually sticked to my buys? Have I taken the right trades? You know, all of that. A trader, or most traders, believe that their job is drawing lines. Their job is pressing on a buy and sell button. Wrong. Your job as a trader is collecting data, refining, okay? You're basically a scientist that is never going to find the cure for whatever, okay? Let's just say you're working in medicine whatsoever. Your job is to be a scientist for the rest of your life if you want to be a trader, okay? Because you're never going to be finding that perfect strategy, that perfect cure in that sense, for any of your strategies. So you're a lifelong student of the market if you want it like that. So at the end of the day, it is really just simple. Okay, there's not much to it in order to be a profitable trader. I'm telling you, there is not much to it. See, you have been focusing on the wrong stuff so far. That's why you're unprofitable. You have not been focusing on the right stuff. Okay, you have focused a lot. You have put in a lot of effort. I believe you in that sense. But you have put in the wrong effort. Okay, that's like if I try to basically drive a car, but I'm practicing on a bicycle. Okay, I am practicing a lot. I'm being consistent, okay, with the bicycle, but I'm learning to basically ride the bicycle and not the car. And that's why I'm unprofitable. So what's going on? Did we have our movement candle? No, we didn't. This would arguably for some people be, you know, this movement candle because it's bigger than this one. It's bigger than this one. Yeah, but it's only slightly better or bigger than this one. Slightly. I need to see movement. But arguably also, if this will be just a little bit more than this one, so let's just imagine this candle will be looking like that, so just a little bit more, then yes, this will be a movement candle, certified, you know, certified by me, man, and I'll be taking a trade onto the upside. Sometimes it's worth looking at the 3-minute time frame, because you're going to be catching a movement candle here rather than on the 1 minute. Sometimes though, not always, sometimes. Let me quickly check out the daily real quick. We have pretty much already traded into the low in here. This was also projected in yesterday's trade, so on the 13th, I believe, that I wanted to trade this higher, and I expected this entire thing to reject off this FEG and then higher. This hasn't happened, but yeah, overall, still right on the direction that we want to trade onto the upside. Okay, there we go. We're starting to see some movement. That's what I like to see. And let's see how this last candle closes. What I love to see is that we have basically traded into the 50% of this entire area. If we're going to go into the 50-minute time frame, and it also aligns pretty well because now we don't only have our liquidity rate, but we have something that is supporting the price action down there. Okay, and that's pretty much already it for me taking a trade, because for you that might not look like movement candle, but on the 2-minute time frame, let's just say this is definitely a movement candle. So let's take the trade. We're in longs right now. I'm gonna put the stop loss at the 50%, and I'm going to be aiming for a 142. Let's just see how this goes. Once we get above here, this could be a potential break-even point for me. Classic would be if we are going to be trading into that FEG, rejecting off from it, and then onto the upside. Like a lot of y'all would just get scared out and you would get out of the price action because we are traded lower, but no, I am going to stick to the entire price action. Shit, it happens. I mean, it had to happen. Like, we have been going on such crazy, I mean, I wouldn't say winning streak, because like we have also lost during a couple of days, but you know, you can win them all. And I've also noticed like I'm just taking longs, you know. I should probably also consider taking shorts. I mean, it just looks like I should short basically, but I guess This time I was wrong. I was wrong in taking a long. Now, but we're not going to be re-entering. You know, usually I like to re-enter it. This time I just really truly believe I was wrong on the market, because we have basically been taken out in here, traded lower. So I don't think that there's a point basically continuing this. So this was a post trade, basically traded into 50% of the area, and also 50% area, or let's say EQ was stronger. We should have identified that somehow, but yeah, I would say that this is valid anyways. So let's log in a trade. Let's go in here and journal that entire trade. Let's go. So we're going to be selecting our entire journal. Let's go to dashboard real quick. There we go. Log in a trade. It's going to be the entry. It's going to be the stop loss. It's going to be the take profit. There we go. Now contract size was 0.2. We're still on NQ. I was, you know, I'd say like a 4, to be honest. I'd say like a 4. I wouldn't say that this was an off-plan setup. This was in plan. I would say that rather didn't consider 50%, or let's say 50% EQ. Okay, we're only going to be journaling this in here. The entry time was, this was 9:22. So let's go in here. Let me extend all of this. So 9:22, and we've held it until 9:31. Okay, so 9:31. There we go. Let's take a screenshot of all of this just as a reference. There we go. Paste in the screenshot, and that's pretty much it. Like with all of the different things logged in, this was a stop loss hit. Oh, for sure. I have actually been taken out a little bit later than that, so it was a little bit of a bigger loss, to be honest. Stop loss here, 215. And yeah, pretty much all of the things are aligned. Let's do this one. This was New York. This was 1 minute, 50 minute, and 4 hour, and also 3 minute actually. There we go. So all of our trades were basically journaled. I mean, we've only taken one. And yeah, let's go to our dashboard, to all of our trades. Let me put this into full screen. So that's currently what we're rolling with. We have made a lot of profits, but we've just taken a loss in here. That happens. So that puts our account, let's go to the dashboard, at 800, or let's just say 900. So yeah, the win rate, you know, we need to increase the win rate for that, for sure. And yeah, that's currently how it's looking like. Now, you can't win every single trade. That's just how it happens. You know, I would have liked to actually have a win today as well. This would have been crazy 2 weeks basically, but it is what it is. So as usual, guys, this is my personal journal, okay, that I'm developing. It's going to be the best journal that you have ever seen. I promise that to you. Okay, I'm working closely with my coders to add all of the different things. You see, we have a lot of different analytics that you can look into, and the more I'm going to be journaling, the more things are going to be included. Okay, we have different styles also in here. If you are looking for something more sleek, maybe even white mode, I mean, you're going to get flashbanged if you're trading if your journal is white mode, but you know, that's up to you. And also just different things that you can look into basically. Okay, now with that being said, on screen right now there's going to be the full strategy. I mean, I've taken a loss, of course, but that doesn't disprove any of the basically profits that we have made so far. So just make sure to click on the video that is on screen right now. It's going to explain you the full strategy, and we're currently turning $100 into X amount, depending on how long I'm going to be taking this. And yeah, it's crazy so far. And yeah, just make sure to click on the video. And always remember, trade based off data and not guesses.